Hey Clashers, sneak peeks start soon, but today we have a little bit of beta footage where we can play around a little bit with the new update and are going to find out a lot of how Beta Base 2.0 is going to look like. As well, what is starting today? That's right, the Beta Base Bonanza. What does this mean? Well, instead of having your loot bonus every 22 hours and your clock tower, it's now down to 8 hours. That's quite nice, right? As well, another nice thing are the offers in the shop. If you're thinking about buying any of those, make sure to use the creator code. With tapping onto the little C on the top right, you can put in a creator code, and with using code iTzu, you can support me. I really truly appreciate that. But now, let's attack Builder Hall 7 and let's find out what those new troops might do. Okay, so we have a lot of troops to choose from. Let's just find out what all of those abilities are, because if you have missed a couple of the last blog posts and everything, a lot of those troops have now their own abilities. Only exception are Barbarian, the Sneaky Archer, and then the Ranged Minion. They're kind of staying the same as they were before, but the amount of them is getting limited quite a bit. As well, remember, this is beta footage, which means there still might be bugs, there still might be changes to design and so on. But remember as well, the offensive side mechanic-wise and the defensive side mechanic-wise are most likely staying as it is as we watch it right now. But let's start things off with the first stuff, and that is the hero. Placing the hero is a little bit different, or more like how the hero works. So far in the builder base, you kind of like always had to press the button of the ability as soon as possible. This has now changed. You can see now small bars loading up on top of the health bar of the battle machine, and this means with stacking those abilities, the abilities get stronger and stronger. What does this mean? Well, as soon as you're getting to ability level 3, it's going to be a lot of hit point recoveries and it's going to be a lot of damage. Just take a look at that. If you activate the ability, you even have something similar to Electro Dragon Chains, which is crazy strong, okay? This is really powerful. Let's just dive to the next troop, which is, well, the Night Witch. And she keeps spawning those little bats into the base. So, what is the ability looking like? Well, I will tease you just a little bit, because first we're going to play the Giant to tank for her, and then we're going to use the ability a little later to make sure that, well, we know first what the other abilities are. The Giant is in, and the Giant as well has another ability. As you can see, all of those troops which you have at the bottom, all of them have special abilities which you can use and make your attack stronger. The Giant ability is that he's taking no damage anymore for a couple of seconds, which is pretty strong. The Night Witch ability now, as you can see, is that he's summoning raged up bats, which can swarm the base as soon as you have multiple of them. Attack time is running low, but let's just dive into the next attack so we can rotate through the different troops as well and show more different troops. The Bomber ability was already pretty nicely shown in a lot of those blog post videos. So you can see he's throwing his bomb. It's just bouncing around and opening a lot of walls, which is amazing. It's kind of like a mini boulder in the builder base, if you want to call it like that. Remember though, the ability of the Bomber can be used multiple times. The Giant or the Night Witch is only a one-time use. Now, let's drop the Skeleton Balloon. What is the ability of the balloon, you might now think? Well, the ability of the balloon overall is that you can just drop a bomb into the base, which is opening up walls, which is dealing a lot of damage. It's overall quite nice. So if you have to burst through defenses, that's kind of how you can really nicely use it. On this one as well, you can see how tanky the Giant is. And now we have the ability of that battle machine, and take a look at that. That is just crazy with those Electro Dragon Chains, with those bounces, which it's crazy, okay? But how does the cannon card work now? Well, the cannon card is a really, really strong tool, because the cannon card now has two different modes, which you can activate and deactivate. The first mode is pretty much the same as we have seen in the old village, where it's driving around, doing his business, shooting different defenses, but the active ability is turning it into a mortar, which is having a bigger range. This is why you see this little ghost range around it, because right now in this mode, the range is smaller, but as soon as you activate the ability, this is where it turns into mortar mode, where you can see the range. And if you're good enough, you can actually outrange cannons, which is quite powerful, but I kind of messed it up. Either way, we have one more troop left, and that's the baby dragon. My personal favorite. I mean, I love baby dragons, and especially the ability is quite nice as well. There's a stupid little bat, which is kind of messing it up, but it's fine. So what exactly does the ability look like? The ability is a one-time active again, where you're kind of... I don't know if I can say it in any other words, but just burping fire. I think that's what it looks like, right? Like, burping fire is quite accurate explained overall. But since we have now figured out how the different troops look like, let's just jump into a real attack and see what we can do with actually planning. Because this is why I love this so much. It now feels like a little puzzle. And this is kind of how I envision Builder Base, with being a little puzzle. On this one, you can attack with pretty much whatever, but I love the cannon cards. But you need to set them up. You need to scout for traps, and you need to be careful with the ranges. Mortar, the archer tower, the giant cannon, all of them have longer ranges, and that's kind of getting tricky sometimes. So what we're going to do first is let's just take down the archer tower with some archers, then use the cannon card, and then we can just do the rest with baby dragons just because I like them, okay? So let's now just start that off, and let's see if we can get to stage 2, because remember, this is Bitter Hall 7. This means that there's the second stage. We do not need to only 3-star this, we need to 6-star this overall village. And archer in, archer still tanking for my cannon card in as well to take down the archer tower. And at this point, there's nothing really on that side which can outrange my cannon card, except maybe like traps, like push traps pushing me into range, or like a random Tesla. Or stuff could pop up, but otherwise we are safe to go. We can outrange the double cannon, we can outrange obviously the crusher or the air bombs as well. At this point, our biggest enemy is time. That's kind of problematic. So I think at some point we just need to start with the battle machine, and again try to place it as far away as possible, because it's loading up his energy bar kind of with his ability bar, which I just think it's such a cooler and smarter way of introducing the hero ability, because this time, this way, it does not mean that you have to keep hammering on this ability as soon as it's ready again. And I just think it's way more fun, because if you actually get to the 3rd stage of the ability, that ability is crazy strong. You can see it right now, the chains, everything, it's just looking amazing. We have to multitask, we have to use the cannon card accordingly on the right side, keep using the ability, and then baby dragons around the outside, kind of like a surgical baby dragon in some way, because, well, there's not that much left as soon as those air bombs are going down. Something else which is going down, which is a super big no-no, apparently, is my heroes going down. That was not really going to plan. Burping more fire from the top baby dragon, because this ability is just way too fun. I mean, this ability is just so cool. But yeah, as I said, we lost our battle machine. Let's see how far we can get in the 2nd stage. We're just traveling through the tunnel into the next village. And there we go. So, how do we approach this? Again, we have to remember what defenses can actually outrange my cannon card. One defense, and that's the arch tower. So in this one, we have to remember if there might be any Tesla. Remember, all of the defenses, the amount, are the same, right? So if we have not faced any Tesla in the 1st stage, the Tesla need to be in the 2nd stage. That's kind of how it works, right? So as long as we do not run into a Tesla, we're fine. But we have sneaky archers to actually trigger and scout for traps, right? So let's just do that at the top side, and then we can do some more work with our cannon card. Because, as I said, as long as you are somewhat good, not as me in the 1st attack, you can actually outrange the cannons, okay? That's the important thing. So let's just do that. Let's just do that with the cannon card and try to outrange the cannon. Archer first, then the cannon card. There's actually a Tesla which is popping up, which is quite nice to see. And now the cannon card, you can see if you just barely get into range of that cannon, you can outrange it. It is always like in half a tile, it feels like. It's really close, and you need to be super precise. So especially if you do this while your entire attack is going on, this is a lot of multitasking, okay? This is crazy. But still, we'll keep going with our little puzzle, trying to like take the base apart and just identify the weaknesses and everything. And this is what I like just so much about this builder base rework. It's not about just spamming everything in. Don't get me wrong, you can spam and still have skill. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just more fun, in my opinion, to have like less troops and then just like surgically, okay, this, that, whatever. And take a look at that. Those zappies are just getting fired away from my baby dragon, and that's just such a good way on how to use the ability of a baby dragon just to completely annihilate those zappies, because as soon as the auto hatch from the second village is going down, there are zappies coming out, and you can just take them out with like one wipe and get them out of that. But I think that was one attack. Let's just do it again, okay? Let's just do it again on another village, and we're going to have our little puzzle and trying to put that into different pieces. While we see and watch this attack, though, I want to repeat a couple of things to really make this clear. For example, what can you expect next? Like sneak peeks and so on, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of questions still. And I hope enough people have watched to this point, so I don't have to answer everything again in the comments. If I have not answered anything, which is happening right now, then feel free to ask in the comments. But let's dive in now. As I said in the beginning of the video, sneak peeks are getting closer. This one right now is not a sneak peek. Just envision it as a preview of a sneak peek, okay? We're able to show a little bit, but not obviously everything. So with that being said, this is already kind of giving you a nice idea of how everything could look like. Because again, as I said, this is beta footage, which means that there still might be some bugs, there still might be some changes, visual and everything. But as I said earlier as well, mechanic-wise, it's going to be pretty much somewhat final, but let's see if there are going to be any changes. But I feel like it's going to be something close to that as well. Next thing then, we have right now the Bonanza happening, the builder-based Bonanza, which is kind of the equivalent to what we have in the home village, which is the Hammer Gem, which should give you a lot of information as well. If you don't know why, then yeah, I don't know what to say, but you will figure it out. I know already, you guys are really smart, so you will get that. And as well, overall, I have to say one thing again, and really want to highlight that this puzzle feeling in Builder Base is just super, like, it's crazy fun. And if you're looking for a lot of content, if you're looking for guides and everything, make sure to follow the channel, because I will obviously cover the sneak peeks. I will do a lot of guide videos and everything, because I'm super hyped for Builder Base. I loved Builder Base when it was released. I loved the small little puzzle feeling back then. This kind of was lost over the years, kind of, with like more and more builder halls. But I feel like this is now back with having stronger troops and obviously having those small little stages to make sure the villages are kind of staying small and you have this puzzle feeling still, which I just think is so cool. Another thing I really want to highlight is by this point we have overall 3 villages in Clash of Clans. We have the home village, we have the clan capital, and we have the builder base. And I feel like this is just how I see things, and I really want to just share my point of view, which is overall I feel like Clash of Clans is by now 10.5 years old. And I feel like the big success of this game is that it's able to catch a lot of different people, a lot of different players. You can play, for example, the home village competitively. You can play it as a farmer, just with sneaky goblins and so on. It's like, yeah, there are so many different options you can go for. And I feel like the same thing with those villages. You don't have to play every single village. And I feel like this is always such an important thing with like people in the comments going crazy, why should I play that? If you like it, if it's fun, play it. If not, it's fine. You have home village and clan capital, for example. Or if you don't like clan capital, you have home village and builder base. Or it's totally up to you. And I feel like this is one thing why Clash of Clans overall is so successful, because it has so many different options of you playing the game, which makes it really cool. And as I said already, I like a lot this builder base update. Let me know how you like it overall in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this little preview of a sneak peek. I will see you guys back tomorrow with the next video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.